Okay, so here we go. New session of Backyard Neuroscience. Doing something quite different this time around. I've moved the EEG rig and everything over to the van here, and we're going to take a drive. So we're going to see how the brain operates in various real-world driving scenarios. So we're going to see what my brain looks like in a highway environment. We're going to look and see what my brain looks like in a busier town environment with traffic. And then after, as a final part to that experiment, I'm going to pull somewhere and see if I can settle into a quick meditative state, and we can see how quickly my brain changes states. So I think I've got all of this up and recording. Everything seems to be running. Okay, let's give this a shot. I'm pulling away. So I'm right on a 100 series highway here. So as with gaming, I also have to be careful not to speak very much. If I talk too much, facial movements upset the sensors, as do moving my head around too much. So I'm going to be relatively quiet during this, let my brain do the talking, so to speak. It's hard to talk without making facial movements, right? You want to smile, you want to do these kinds of things. So it may appear I'm a bit stunted in my how I behave, but it's really because I got to keep my head from moving around too much. So I'll be quiet now. We're just going to drive. So my eye movements may cause um, might disturb the sensors just a little bit, but I have to keep looking around, obviously, to check my mirrors and check my speed and all those sorts of things. So now we're off the highway heading on a secondary road. So there should be a little bit of heavier traffic here. Everything seems to be working. It's funny, I just saw the RCMP there. I wonder what they'd say to me wearing an EEG headband if they pulled me over. Would they call this distracted driving? I suspect I'm getting a lot of delta waves present. This seems to be correlated with eye movements, so I obviously have to look around and evaluate the scene, do that predictive brain thing. I really spend most of my time dodging potholes. They seem to be more of a hazard than other drivers. I have to be aware of how much battery juice I'm using here too. I've got all this running off my little laptop battery, so I expect I only have about 20-30 minutes to do this. Nothing's moving around, everything seems to be good. No, I'm not going to make this light. Interesting. I should really go to McDonald's drive-thru and get a coffee, but I didn't bring any money with me. Well, it's Saturday in a small town, so there's not much for heavy-duty traffic here. But it's a good experiment. I wonder how I would react in city traffic, so I guess we'll have to set that experiment up for a later date. I think the mall parking lot is probably the biggest set of distractions. It's got the most people, most going on. Ah, yes, the small town Walmart. Right, I'm just going to do a quick system check here just to make sure that all of this stuff is still behaving. Okay, everything's still holding on. Everything's connected. Battery juice still holding. All right, let's go. I definitely have a craving for McDonald's coffee. Yes, I enjoy McDonald's coffee. I used to enjoy Tim Hortons, but it's not the same company anymore. Their coffee has gotten awful. McDonald's is still reliably making me a good cup of coffee, which is nice. So, with the occasional glances I am turning my head to look at the EEG, I see that I'm showing a lot of alpha dominance, which I really find surprising, considering driving is usually a cognitively heavy activity, and I would have expected my beta waves to be much higher, the green ones. Interesting. The red doesn't surprise me. That comes from eye movements and head movements. Look at these nasty potholes right there. Yeah. So now we're on a different kind of secondary road. We're out of the little town and see how my brain operates on this little road. Probably the same it has been. Yeah, I see alpha waves dominant. Interesting. So obviously this is pretty calm driving. I'd be really curious to see how my brain is going to respond in like really heavy city traffic, but unfortunately that's also an hour and a half away from me, or 2 hours or so, so a little trickier to set up that experiment. I'd like to try this while riding a motorcycle as well, but I'm not certain I can get the EEG under the motorcycle helmet. That would be tricky. Carve up these country roads on a bike and see how the brain sees that kind of stuff. Well, it's nice that winter is almost over. The snow's starting to melt. Glad the long days are coming back. Still running. Just a minute here. I'm going to pull over and take a couple of minutes and see how quickly I can slide into a meditative state. All right. Nice little parking spot here at the old Big Scoop. Oh, now it's called Dorn's Big Scoop. Nice. So yeah, we're just gonna. So yeah, this is the meditation portion. So I'm basically gonna close my eyes for a couple of minutes here, just leave the van running and see what my brain does in this particular situation after driving. Well, I figure that's probably about 2 minutes or so. I'm going to open my eyes here and just sit here for a couple of minutes to see what changes now with my eyes open for another minute or two, just with not driving. So basically, I'm testing my brain under various circumstances. Um, Highway driving, then a little bit of town driving, then a little bit of secondary highway driving, then a little bit of meditation, and then a little bit of eyes open. And now we're going to examine what the difference was between those particular sets of circumstances, see how my brain changed over time. So there will be an EEG field report following this up. So we're going to analyze this EEG recording, and then I'm going to post the entire video along with the EEG recording on both YouTube and Substack. So that's my kind of plan next. Not sure what I'm going to do with the next experiment. Maybe a drive up to the city, something like that. Or maybe a walk, something with the horses perhaps. I was thinking about meditating with the horses, see if my brain gets any calmer with that. So, okay, I think I'm going to conclude this session now. Let's see if I can turn all this stuff off. And let's stop this recording. And let's stop